Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to try to make sense of some Disney news. Apparently, the Acolyte is the most watched premiere of 2024, according to Disney.
Right, and they're supposed to have gotten like, I forget how many, like 4.8 million viewers, according to Disney.
According to Disney, that is the disclaimer there. So we're gonna talk about this, break it down, and see if it actually will translate into this being a massive hit for them, because this show is ridiculously expensive. I had no idea it cost as much.
$22.5 million per episode estimated.
So it costs each episode of this Star Wars, I'm using finger quotes, show cost almost as much as all of Godzilla -1.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
That's why it can't fail. This is why I think that they're putting these out. Oh, it's the #1 premiere in 2024. But then again, if you look at the numbers, which we're going to look at in a minute, it's supposedly got twice as much as Obi-Wan, which I call bullshit on. So, before we get into any further?
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo! Yeah, so this is weird. So I looked it up, and basically, here's what the premieres were, according to numbers I found online. Now, Mandalorian Season 1, they weren't really giving you numbers. It was more like 40 million something expressions or whatever that meant.
Yeah.
But Mando Season 2 was 104 to 1.5 million at the premiere. Mando 3, 2.14 million. Book of Boba Fett, 1.8 or 1.9 million, depending where you look. Obi-Wan's 2.14 million. Ahsoka's 1.2 million. Andor's 1.2 million, but the Acolyte's 4.8 million?
So here's what's so weird about this. I'm not seeing promotion. I mean, maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, right? But I'm not seeing the promotion for this show that I saw for the other shows, except for Andor. Nobody even talked about Andor. All I've really seen is a lot of discussion online about it, and we're owning the chuds and owning the bigots or whatever.
Most of the normies aren't even going to be on there, and when they hear that R2-D2 is supposed to be a lesbian now, according to Leslie Headland,
I think it was a joke.
I think it was a joke too. But
I'm
just saying, it's not going, and it's the gayest Star Wars yet. I don't think the normies are going to be lining up for it. Now, the first 2 episodes, what I'm hearing a lot of is people are like, it wasn't the worst, but it's not the best. It's middling, but it's not terrible. The fight scenes are cool, but I want to wait and see more because, from what we're hearing, it's going to go downhill fast after episode 3. But it just doesn't make sense to me. 4.8 million when Obi-Wan, which actually had quite a bit of demand because it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and most normies didn't know about like the little Leia adventures and all that crap. It was like the one everybody wanted to watch, and it got half as much.
Yeah, that is kind of weird because that was the one. Boba Fett and Obi-Wan were the 2 shows that everybody was kind of talking about because they were classic original trilogy characters. But Boba Fett did irreparable damage to the Disney Plus shows because it was so damn boring, and they ruined one of the best Star Wars villains for this show. They made him a sad sack. And then
it was Mando season 2.5 too.
Yeah, pretty much. And because the only episodes I think I watched the first episode and then I watched the Mando episode, and that's how they got people to watch Boba Fett.
But what we're not hearing is, okay, you're supposed to have these views, but does that mean, what are you counting as a view? Are you counting that someone has to watch the whole one of the episodes? Are you counting they have to watch for 10 minutes? Are you counting, if it clicks or auto plays on its own for 30 seconds, we're counting that as a view? Because you're not telling us what that translates to in minutes. And we're going to look at somebody else bringing up a point where this because it has a lot of views doesn't mean that it has a lot of people watching it. But before we get into that, I want to point something out. So I went to Google Analytics. All right. Now they're claiming the Acolyte twice as much as Obi-Wan. Keep that in mind. Yeah. Here, Kneon just told me to shrink it down for you. Okay, so we're shrinking it so you can see it. Hopefully you can see this. So what we're looking at is I searched different things for each of the shows, right? Now, Ahsoka is actually search term, not the show. But the other ones are for the Mandalorian search term because there are 3 shows and things. However, you can see since 2019, The Mandalorian, and every time it spikes, that's around the time the show released.
Right.
Okay? So Mandalorian's way up here with interest. It stays pretty high, pops up again. It's staying above the other things, pops up again for season 3, significantly less interest, obviously, than earlier on. The yellow is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi goes clear up to here.
Yeah,
All right.
because it was Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Right. It's massively popular. And even then leading up to it, it had a lot of interest. Now, since we know we're not going to get more, it's kind of flatlined. But you can see when it released, where the interest was. So you go out to the Acolyte, which is blue. Okay. Now, here's where it starts. Here's where the release is right here. Now, Ahsoka's green. So right there's Ahsoka when it showed up.
And Ahsoka makes sense because she was already on The Mandalorian, so normies knew who this character was, and she was very popular on the Star Wars animated series.
Right. So we have Ahsoka, we have Obi-Wan, these are The Mandalorian. This little blip.
That little blip.
This is the Acolyte. So please someone fucking explain to me how it's supposed to have 4.8 million, uniques legitimately, when it's down here and Obi-Wan had, I have right here, 2.14 million at launch here. Please explain how this is twice as much as this.
Yeah, Disney magic.
What they do, do they have places that they had hired to watch a few minutes of the show and then keep cycling through different accounts to say that they're actual, impressions?
Well, all this makes a lot more sense. You go out to that article and they talk about how much a show cost.
Right. So, we'll do that first, then we'll look at what somebody else said. Yeah, Disney's most watched premiere of 2024. One, you have 2024 in there. You're not saying ever, Star Wars ever, because I don't think it is. I think Disney knows it's not, but they're trying to bullshit as usual. But they go down here and they're talking about The Acolyte has now become the most watched launch of a Disney Plus show for 2024 on a Wednesday at 11 p.m. You know,
2024 has had a lot of misfires. So, yeah, it's not really saying much because
it's not.
Even some of the
Echo was the most watched before that one. And look what happened there.
Oh, boy, Echo. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, 22.5 million per episode.
Okay, and they're doing 4.8 million views within 24 hours. I believe a lot of these numbers I read to you, including Obi-Wan, was over the course of a couple days. So they're claiming there was even more demand for the Acolyte than there was for Obi-Wan. I want to once again show you. Here's the current demand for the Acolyte. Here was Obi-Wan.
Yeah, a lot of people thought this
bullshit. Continue.
No, I'm just saying a lot of people thought this show was possibly getting shelved. I know some people said that they thought it was quietly canceled. And then
if they were smart, they would have.
If they were smart, they would. Because if this show goes down the way that some rumor mongers are saying it's going to go down, right? Some people that have, I guess, watched the screeners for the next couple episodes, it could be the kill shot for Star Wars.
I don't know why they went ahead and did this. And honestly, when you're looking on things like X and social media, you have the people like, we're on the judge, but most of the things that are getting traction are the people like, what is this? That's where most of the traction is coming, not the people like, oh, it's the bestest thing ever, suck it. They're not getting the interaction that people are like, what is this, are getting. They said that they had to beat out I love this. They beat out other premieres like X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Okay. And the viewership news is certainly promising. It doesn't make sense to me. 4.9 million views. One doesn't translate to minutes, but how is there 4.8 million views when they're saying Obi-Wan had 2.14 million views? It doesn't make sense. They said the reported budget is the most expensive Star Wars series ever made at $22.5 million per episode.
God. Yeah, I think the truth is they cannot afford for this thing to fail. So they're going to try to put the best positive spin on it that they can. And, we've seen them do this before with, Captain Marvel. Like, do I think Captain Marvel really was burning up the box office like they claim? I don't know. It was so weird.
I know they were busing people in. You can spend like this cheap amount, bust into the movie, get to see the movie, get food and everything for $5 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we saw what happens when they ran out of money to pay the show media. Marvel's did horribly poor. I mean, it was awful. It was the biggest disaster.
They didn't have the money to buy out theaters then, these empty theaters that were sold out, and they had pictures and stuff.
So now, my next question is, because this is a diverse and inclusive Star Wars, did they sacrifice Obi-Wan and Andor to put the big marketing push into the Acolyte?
I don't know. I haven't really seen much of a marketing push.
I haven't either.
And the trailers were down. Okay, the trailers
okay,
were
by
downvoted.
marketing push, I mean by hiring, some folks to help massage the data.
Okay, well, I want to know is how many people subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch this show?
Nobody. I can't think of a damn person who subscribed to Disney Plus to watch this.
Trailers were downvoted like massively, but that's just the angry vocal minority. Here's the thing: you can't say everything's a vocal minority because that would be like it would be a small dent. Because we're taking like huge losses as far as like the downvoting and all that. It would imply that there was more people than just the chuds not liking it, and the people that did like it were far, far, far fewer. Okay, because downvoting, it doesn't stop the upvotes. They don't negate each other.
No.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's it still shows that hardly anybody was upvoting it, which means that there was no interest, nobody knew or nobody cared. Okay, so this makes no sense. But they're saying about this is a perfect time because it's the first time ever in live action. The Acolyte explores an era of Star Wars that takes place long before the prequel. It's 100 years. They didn't go back very far, and it makes no sense. If it's 100 years out, it even makes less sense.
Yeah, but this isn't an era that most normies are going to be interested in because most normies are going to be like, oh yeah, the prequels were boring, so now let's go back 100 years before the prequels. They're going to be extra boring.
They're talking about, it's a perplexing murder mystery. And it's the unfortunate target of review bombing. Oh, here we fucking go. Okay. Because the audience reviews, because the critic scores are really good. And we talked about that the other day in a video. The audience scores are not so good. However, I don't think it's, I mean, do I think some people are voting it down on purpose? Yes. Do I think some people are voting it up on purpose? Yes. Because several of these 5-star, 4.5-star ones, they have a lot of similar talking points. I'm not necessarily this page, but I've seen other pages. And when you click on the person who's posting it, they have never reviewed anything before. So it's not like that's for all curious. So for all the downvoting, because they never reviewed before, but they're downvoting this, you can argue the exact same thing on the opposite side. And even with their efforts, it's still not saving this show.
No.
On Rotten Tomatoes. Somebody else brought up this point, which was interesting. They're saying that because, I guess Neurotic had posted about the Variety article, according to Disney.
According to Disney.
I guess this is according to Disney. We won't know other numbers until later. But this person, I want to make sure they get credit. Now it's known.
Yeah, they always post data.
They brought up a good point, and they said big numbers, press releases don't always translate to big numbers in viewership. Just because they have a lot of views supposedly getting it doesn't mean it's a lot of minutes. They had 10.9 million views in 3 days on Loki, and it was only 446 million minutes. Isn't that a little weird?
Yeah, speaking of Loki, the guy in charge of it, I guess he just left Marvel today, or
did he?
He's leaving. Yeah, so that's kind of weird too.
Well, I don't think they're doing any more with it. So, but I'm just saying this because it has 10.9 million views in 3 days. This is supposed to have 8 in like a day or two for the Acolyte. But it was like 446 million minutes. It was still underneath, Ahsoka, Only Murders in the Building. All these other things. This does not necessarily mean it's actually getting a lot of views, which also makes you think, okay, so why is that, Disney?
I want to see
what's going on there.
I want to see it from Nielsen's. I want to see a third party verify.
Well, Nielsen's usually just report by the minutes.
Right.
Yeah, here they have another one. Try to click on it. Ahsoka draws 14 million views for first episode. Well, that's interesting because when I got the numbers for other places, it was 1.2 million.
14 million views for the first episode.
But that's probably for like the whole run or something like that, or for several, because this is the first episode. No, it says first episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a the one I think was I Have a Samba. So there's a conflict here.
I want to see Samba's.
829 million minutes.
Yeah, I want to see Samba's numbers. I want to see Nielsen's numbers because I don't think there's as much buzz around this show, or at least positive buzz, as there was around Ahsoka and definitely Obi-Wan. I mean, we had Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader.
Again.
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, way down here, that's Acolyte. But this is supposed to, it's supposed to have been, far, far better than these ones. This has done so well. Now, they did mention it was just 2024, not in total. So it just depends where you look, because I guess Samba's going to have different numbers because they're going to have like a percentage. But whatever Disney says, that doesn't mean it actually translates to watch time.
Yeah, again, that's I want to see what the actual watch time is.
For genuine interest.
Because it could be people watch first 5 minutes and they're like, yeah, no, I'm out.
It could be, it could be auto playing. It could be, there's so many different things. It could be, oh, wow, there's a little farm somewhere where they're running a bunch of computers and they're all like coming into Disney Plus and watching it for like 20 minutes. And then, oh, look, that's a view.
Well, okay, people don't realize that that's kind of how YouTube works. When they look at movie trailers and like, oh my God, this movie trailer got like millions of views. Some of those views are actually paid for because they're using the trailer as advertising. So they're paying people to watch that, and it still counts as a view on YouTube. Now they're not making money off of it, obviously, but you know what I'm saying? It's still, oh my God, guys.
They don't care that they lose money there because they're going to trick everybody thinking, oh, I'm missing something.
50 million views on the movie trailer within the first 2 hours. Never mind that it's been like auto playing before everybody's YouTube video because they just dropped a bunch of money on it,
Right. So yeah, it's about, how you turn your head and squint, and look at it. Do I think that it did so phenomenal? Well, I guess if they're trying to say like Ahsoka got 14 million, then it got 4.8, then that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that makes more sense because I'm looking here and there's Obi-Wan and there's the Acolyte. That doesn't,
It's like a drop in the bucket.
Ahsoka's up here. There's the Acolyte.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian's up here. There's the Acolyte.
Even Ahsoka back in...
How much did you spend on this?
Even Ahsoka back in 2019, she got more interest than the Acolyte in 2021. It could be people looking for the character, but still.
Well, it could be because she was, and then, she was appearing on The Mandalorian and stuff like that, too. So I don't know, but there you go. I question it highly. And Disney putting it out doesn't mean that that's actually legitimately the biggest thing ever. They will very carefully word it. Of 2024. Of
2024, and most of their shows this year have been misfires. So it's kind of, again, that's, But
and just because something starts out great doesn't mean but get it halfway through the show doesn't mean the viewership's still there.
Look at Jodie Whittaker's run on Doctor Who, the first couple episodes. First episode especially, everybody tuned in to see if it was going to be a train wreck or not. And you could see it just drop off a cliff within a couple episodes. People are like, yeah, I'm not watching this. I don't want to watch this. So we'll see what happens, guys. But there it is. Disney claims it's the hottest thing this week.
But they also spent $22.5 million per episode. So it's very hard to believe that they're going to do everything they can to make it appear more popular than it is.
That's probably
because the investors don't ask questions, and
that's probably why they didn't just shelve this one. People were like, "Oh, they're going to shelve it." I'm like, "Well, if they put that much money into it, no, they're probably not because they have to push forward." But I'm like, if you fundamentally alter the Force and destroy the franchise. And I'm sorry, I think George Lucas was directly addressing the Acolyte at Cannes Film Festival. I think he was because what he said about, strong female characters, and he talked about the nature of the Force and Disney not understanding it. I think he was definitely referencing this show, and he did not seem happy about it. And I don't think the fans are going to be happy about it either. But I don't really get. I'm going to be honest.
They don't seem to be. But I'm sorry. Everything that's not good review is obviously review bombing.
I just don't. I don't care. I mean, to me, like, I know people are like, well, if you don't care, why are you doing videos? I'm like, I don't know. Why are you watching our videos? Why are you commenting on our videos?
Are people saying that?
Yeah, they do. They're like, well, you say you don't care, but you're doing videos. I'm like, why are you watching our videos? Why do you feel the need to comment on everything?
I can't talk about Star Wars that I've loved forever because you don't,
about it,
I don't give two shits about this other than the fact that they're lying.
Yeah, but, I think that's the bigger picture. I think Disney is.
I still keep saying that I still like classic Star Wars and I still, like the books and crap. So I still like Star Wars. I just don't like this Star Wars.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't care. I mean, if you like the show, I don't care. I really, truly don't care. To me, we have 6 Star Wars movies, and Rogue One was good fan fiction, and I'm good. I'm good with that.
I'm just like, if we get to the last episodes, people are like, oh my God, and they're still saying it's really great, and people that I know are going to be fair about it are saying it's really great, well, then I might look at it. But at this point in time, hell no. I've got much better things to waste my time on. Like my nails need cut. I was going to say my nails need cut. Oh. My cat needs brushed. I have to go to the dentist next week.
Root canal is more fun.
I know. We had to mow the yard. There's lots of other things that I hate doing, but I will do those over watching this. So make more videos to piss people off. It's more fun that way. Are we going to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.